Hello there, everyone. My name is Tim, and welcome to the second episode of Tim Talks, the show that's only partially a show. It's more so an excuse for me to talk to some of my very talented friends. And speaking of another talented friend, I have another one for you here today. His name is Dylon Saramago, otherwise known as Dylon from the Internet Box. Say hello.
Hi, that's me that he just introduced.
You doing all right today?
Yeah, I'm great. After recording 600 things and a lot of technical problems, it's good to be sitting down and
we certainly did. Technical problems were abound, to say the least. And then you just coming fresh off recording this week's Internet Box.
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah. Nice full cast this week, I assume.
Yep, we had. I've spoiled it. Who cares? I don't know when this video is going to come out. It was myself, Michael, Mike, and Andrew. This week.
This comes out Wednesday, and your episode should go up before then, so you should be fine as far as that goes. So, the first thing that I want to get out of the way, just for the naming purposes of the rest of this video, do you prefer Dylon or Dylon?
Oh, I go Dylon all the way now. When my family calls me Dylon, I'm just like, stop. It's weird.
Yeah, it does get a little weird sometimes to be able to.
Yeah, because at this point it's a nickname, it's not like an internet name. I'm not going like Dylon 620. It's Dylon.
Yeah.
It's just what everyone calls me. I'm used to it.
Fair enough. And speaking of namings, I noticed that you just changed your Twitter handle recently.
Yeah, I changed my Twitter handle and my YouTube name to match. The YouTube name was a little bit harder because I had to go through Google Plus because I synced that up because it was Slow Motion Dylon because of my old group that I made videos with, and they completely disbanded. I was just like, oh, okay, I kind of want to make videos still. And I was too lazy to change the name, and it was already there for a year, my account, so I was just like, whatever. And then the Google Plus thing opened up an opportunity to change it to my actual name. And I was like, cool, let's just do that. And then the recent Twitter name switch was just because I don't make Achievement Hunter videos, so I just decided, like, you know, people keep saying, like, oh, he helps with Achievement Hunter. It's like, I really don't, and I don't want people giving me credit that I don't deserve, so I just kind of said, hey, why not change it?
Fair enough. That's completely fair. And you might as well go ahead and put your name on it from the very, very beginning. I mean, you heard the name of this show. It's Tim Talks, and all of my series are Tim Tries and Tim Takes On, and so on and so forth. It helps to get that brand awareness out from square one. So one of the biggest questions that I got from just around the internet, and I just want to get it out of the way, don't have to talk about it anymore. Of the original 150, what is your favorite Pokemon for once and for all?
Once and for all. Honestly, it's still a hard decision because I'm pretty sure I said Pidgey just out of the blue. And then, I don't know, I like Bulbasaur, I like Pikachu, I have a Pikachu stuffed animal up there. It's great. I have two, actually. So, overall, I'm going to say Pikachu.
Fair enough. Personally, mine's Arcanine. You can't go wrong with a giant flaming tiger. But I wanted to get that the hell out of the way. And the other one, your hair. Everyone loves your hair. They think it's glorious. It's luscious. You keep it so not quite so tidy, but you definitely keep it styled. What do you do for that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, it was a whole thing because everyone just made fun of my hair so much in the original Cooking with Dylon video with Michael and Lindsay. And I was just like, I just changed it as soon as I got home. Like, as soon as I got home from Texas, which was a week after RTX, I cut my hair, and I kind of, because I was so Spider-Man crazy, I tried to go a little bit Andrew Garfield, like just kind of shorter with a little bit of up.
A little bit of tuft.
And then I decided, his hair's too short. Yeah, his hair was too short, and I like having a little bit longer to cover my forehead and stuff. So I just kind of swirled it around, and then I was like, oh, that's good. Hey, Mom, do that, because my mom was my hairdresser because she dresses hairs.
Yeah, you know, so, I ended up, I never really got used to being able to have longer-ish hair. Mine does this horrible thing where it ends up looking like I have a mushroom on top of my head. And I'm not from the Mushroom Kingdom, so no toad on there. Thank you very much.
No. It's usually when it's really hot, so in Texas it definitely was magnified by 100%. Whenever it's hot or I'm frustrated and sweating, my hair just poofs up. Like, you can even see it now. It's kind of getting a little bit there, like it's going around and stuff.
Oh, goodness gracious! I will say this: you brave all the weather and all the frizz and all that crap just to go back to Austin. Oh, I cannot wait. But we'll get to that later on. Your other big obsession that everybody asks about is Spider-Man. Is he really your favorite?
Well, let's just pull out this mat that I have on my desk. It's a holographic mat that kind of turns from Spider-Man to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't really want to move the camera just to keep everything centered.
Stable.
I have a Spider-Man thing up there. It's just like a cutout that was on top of a stand for DVDs. I have a little Pez dispenser of Spider-Man. I have a piggy bank of Spider-Man. I have little toys. I can actually grab those because that'll take 2 seconds. I have... It's like a collection from Ultimate Spider-Man toys. It's a little Dr. Octopus thing, a little Nick Fury, and a little Spider-Man. Neat. Yeah, I'll just put these here.
Oh, they're so cute! They're so tiny!
Not to break anything. I have another Spider-Man stand up there that's slightly different from the other one. I have 2 Spider-Man costumes, and I'm working on another one too.
My word.
That I'm making myself, so it's a lot.
So yes. Definitive, yes, your favorite. Nice. And is that, have you always been into comic books and video games? Or were you a big book reader as a kid? Or
video games is a whole different story, because video games was my medium. It was kind of... People like to watch movies. My sister loved to watch movies, really long movies, and read books. And I was like, I would like to kind of interact with everything myself.
Right.
So, aside from fact books, which I mentioned before we started recording, I like to read about facts, even if it's fiction. Like, I'll go through a Wikipedia of, say, BioShock. I'll go through the BioShock wiki, and I'll be looking through it for a good hour.
I was curious what you meant about, like, I love facts, even if they're fiction. Now, okay, you love lore.
It's a confusing thing, but I like doing that. Like, I'll look at all of the equipment that someone uses in a video game. I'll look through all of the everything like that. Comics I haven't been that into until recently. But I did, or when I was younger, my uncle, everyone likes using their uncle as a story,
of
but
course.
My uncle, he had like 2 or 3 Spider-Man comics, and I didn't like them. I liked Spider-Man, but I didn't like the comics because they were like yellow and hard to read, and all the ink was like mixed together, and what they were saying was stupid, so I was like, whatever. But now I'm all about it. Like, I have all of Amazing Spider-Man, I have all of Ultimate Spider-Man, I have Superior Spider-Man, I have every kind of Spider-Man.
Well, some say you end up growing into it and kind of maturing into it.
Yeah, it's like I knew I liked it because of the movies and the cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the Tobey Maguire movies are kind of bad, but the first 2 just resonated with me so well, and I'm so nostalgic over it now.
Of course.
I can admit that they're pretty bad in a lot of places.
Well, yes, but bad doesn't necessarily denote some sort of inability to connect with the audience. I mean, you're able to get something out of even the worst performance.
Especially in my case, I like to put myself in characters' shoes a lot. Like, just to bring it to anime real quick, because I like anime too.
Okay.
I watched an anime called Sword Art Online, and it's really good. It's like about this video game that's virtual reality, and they get put into the games, and then they get stuck in it. So they have to beat the game with all these, it's like an MMO, so with all of these other players, and when you die in real life too. So it's a whole thing like that.
Okay.
And
it's kind of like cool Dot Hack.
Yeah, that. I remember seeing that. I never understood it just because I was younger when I saw it, and it was in English, so there were already a lot of translation errors, probably. But that, like, a lot of people are saying that the characters are very one-sided and kind of shallow, and the kind of perfect character that everyone likes to make. Just so everyone can be like, oh yeah, I like that character. They're making good decisions.
The big hulking warrior or skinny woman who doesn't have near as much armor on as she needs, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this, it's an MMO, so they can have like small armor, and all of the effects that they get is translates over. So the cooler it looks, the better it is. You know.
I'll have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, it's
Sword
really
Art
really
Online.
Sword Art Online. I say it really quickly too, but there's that. I love the main character because he's that hero type. He's like a skinny guy, and I can like relate with him and all that. Like, he loves video games. He puts himself into the world. I can relate with it so well that all of his past experiences are my experiences. So even though we haven't gotten so much backstory from the character, I put myself there. So like everything that I did, he did. And on top of that, he's going through this adventure, so I'm going through the adventure.
I mean, that's one of the most amazing things about a good story is its ability to allow the viewer or the reader or the whatever medium you happen to be absorbing it from to literally just put themselves in there and forget that the rest of the world even exists. I mean, it's fantastic. And you know, I think that's why comic book people tend to take a little bit more time to get into it, because it's not as interactive a medium as, say, movies or video games where you get talked at, or you know, it just tends to be a little bit less accessible. I think so. It's interesting that you ended up latching onto that. And so you would say pretty squarely that as far as realms of nerddom go, you rest pretty squarely in those.
Yeah.
Do you do tabletop gaming, anything like that?
No. Andrew used to text me and say, "Hey, Andrew, my co-host from the Internet Box podcast, the other thing that I do."
Right.
He used to text me all the time and be like, "Oh, my friends are dragging me into Dungeons and Dragons," and I'm like, "Why don't you just leave?" And he's like, "Oh, because I don't know. I don't want to be a dick." It's like, you kind of like it.
I'm about to say, no, the thing he didn't want to say in front of you is that he actually enjoys it.
Yeah, even if he acts like he doesn't. And I totally would. Like, I think that would be kind of fun to play once or twice at least. Not have a night like every week, but just play a few times.
I've tossed around the idea of trying to get some sort of D&D game together. You never know. July's coming up.
Yeah.
So, tell what are you into now, other than comic books, that you weren't into as a kid?
Oh boy, definitely scary things. Like I used to, I'm not super into it now, but I used to play a game called Dark Cloud, which is just a dungeon.
Oh, I love that game. I love that game so much.
So good. As a player of it, you know that it's a little bit like Dark, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary-ish and stuff.
Yeah.
It's nothing too big. I was too scared to do anything in that game. Like, I didn't want to go through the dungeons because the monsters were scary.
The one that got me, and you know, you can make fun of me forever for this, was Mario 64. That game put the fear of water levels into my body that has not left me yet to this day.
Drowning is a scary thing, especially in Sonic with that music.
Right?
Like, it'll get you.
They get it. Such visceral thriving and thrashing when he's in the water. It's horrifying as a kid. And
it makes you feel like you're about to drown, especially when you're claustrophobic or something like that.
And then you had the giant eel that comes out of the ship that, if you're not expecting it, really freaks you out. I mean...
Or the shark in Banjo-Kazooie.
It really did a number on me.
He's just like, I'm going to eat you now, if that's okay.
Oh. So those tend to... games now that have open water levels, I get a little verklempt.
Yeah, I'm not going in there.
So let's rewind a little bit. Where were you originally born?
Well, I'm from Canada, as everyone knows, the Canadian one. I think I was born in Hamilton, which is just a place. I don't know. It sounds like a pig, like, city.
Indeed.
Because ham, you know, it's funny. I didn't live there. I lived in. Well, I don't want to throw around my cities, but
what do your parents do, if I may ask?
It's fine. They went through a ton of things because my parents are divorced, which is fine. I'm over it. But my mom's a hairdresser, so thank her for this. And my dad, he went through a ton of things like factory things and stuff like that, and then now he manages a bunch of pizza places. So it's like, Dad, you're getting fat, and you're bringing home food for my stepmother and my stepsister, and you're gonna get them fat. You know, so it's not really something to run around and tell everyone, but
it's what it is.
All right.
And now you're an internet celebrity.
Yeah.
At 18 years old, which some would say is really young. I mean, there are YouTubers now who've been trying at it for the last 4 or 5 years, and they're 32 years old and just starting to get some sort of semblance of fame. How do you respond to being so popular at really a young age?
Oh, I wouldn't really call it popular, but
well, I mean,
I don't know.
What was your?
It was kind of interesting at first. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what's the subscriber count now up to on the Internet Box?
Oh, I don't know, but our downloads are somewhere in like almost 7 million now.
I'd call that popular.
Yeah, I guess.
I would call that very popular.
Yeah. It's kind of nerve-wracking. That's the one.
Of course.
Nervousing is also pretty good. It's in the dictionary. Like, so many people are just watching your thing and listening to your thing, and it's like, it's fine when you're recording with your friends, but when you think about it, it's like, all these people know who I am, and they know all these stories that I've told very poorly, might I add, and all these stories that my friends have told.
And some of which you don't even remember.
Yeah. Like, people will bring out things, and they'll be like, oh yeah, in episode 30, yes. And I'm like, what are you going on about? And they're just like, oh, you asked this question. And I was like, I did? It's really weird.
Yeah, doing it without any sort of context, any sort of anything like that.
Because they're going through the episodes right now. I went through that episode,
of course,
when I was 16. Like, that's really weird to think about. I started the podcast when I was 16, and now I'm 18.
And you were part of the original group.
Yeah, like, for those who don't know, you probably do, though. The Internet Box consisted of Michael, Ray, Barbara, Andrew, they're from Rooster Teeth, and then Andrew, Mike, and I were the original group. And then we added Lindsay when Michael and Lindsay started dating, or a little bit after. And we all agreed on it. It wasn't just, hey, let's bring Lindsay on, right, guys? And we're like, yeah.
Right.
We decided on it. I even said, like, Lindsay is a great guest. I really want her on the podcast permanently. And then we did that. And then Carrie, we had an intro for, like, 40-something before RTX. That was just, like, blah, 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 just introducing us all. And then, and Carrie. And it was like, I don't think Carrie's on the podcast. He is now.
I remember that episode, and it became a big thing that he just happened to be thrown in there for no reason, and he had never been on the podcast before.
Yeah, exactly. So the RTX panel, we just brought him on the panel. Like, I talked to him during the Mega 64 panel, because we were all there. And I was just like, hey, Carrie, I'm Dylon from the Internet Box. Nice to meet you. He's like, oh, nice to meet you. Yeah, I listened to a thing. And I was like, cool. Do you want to be on our panel? He's like, sure. Why not?
Well, I mean, the alternative is standing room only.
Yeah, which he did for most of the panel. He just stood at the...
Well, you know, you get used to sitting so much, and he ends up sitting in front of his computer all day when he works. I'd imagine the chance to stand up for a bit is probably refreshing.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. I stood up because you just couldn't see anything. Now, to be fair, I'm like 6'2", so by the time I stood up, I was nice head, shoulder, and torso above everybody else. But sitting in the back row back there, you couldn't see a dadgum thing.
I couldn't see anything, and I was in the front on stage. I'm really short, especially compared to everyone else. And I got a little bit shafted with the end seat, but I was also in the middle of the stream, too, even though the stream didn't work out very well. I was right in dead center of the camera, so I was fine with it.
Yeah, they had to...
But I did cover the projector a little bit,
They had to call in some backup about halfway through to get the stream going back good again.
Yeah, it was really weird, because we were just like, oh, everything's fine. And then someone said, oh, the stream isn't working. And I was like, what? How could this possibly have problems? This is such a professional event. And then I just see Gus walk ahead of me, or like past me, to the computers, and I was like, when did Gus come visit RTX?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of this.
No.
But it was
No,
really
you're not quite that special.
Yeah.
Turns out it was something far worse.
Yeah.
Technical problems. So the Internet Box has clearly just grown to this massive thing. But when it started out as tiny chat conversations, if I remember right.
Yeah, I remember you were there too. It was just Barbara's tiny chats, and when Barbara wouldn't do them, we would just go with Michael and do them there. A lot of Yoshi spinning, a lot of tiny chat hopping to random people's things. It was just a lot of fun and inviting.
And it just sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah, because interacting with everyone was really fun. And, like, our Xbox party chats were so funny, and we just decided, like, hey, let's record this because we're great. So, yeah.
And thus, the Internet Box was created.
Yes, it was folded from cardboard.
Now, did it help? I mean, obviously it helped that there was some sort of... Who, by the time y'all started, who was already working at Rooster Teeth?
It was just Michael.
Yeah.
It's so weird that, like, they're the one that went and hired all of our staff members. No, but we had Michael, and Barbara was a big member of the community. I would say that Barbara, the level that she was at before the podcast started and before she was hired, that's the level that Andrew, Mike, and I are at now. We don't work there, but we're still number 2 and 3 most watched on the website, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
Known
and then
from
Ray made
there.
Achievement Hunter videos, and who else do we have? Carrie. No, nobody knows who Carrie is, so it's fine. And then Lindsay didn't work there yet either. Right. So it was just the whole thing.
Huh. And then it just snowballed from there into now over 7 million downloads. My word, that's ridiculous.
It's
so
scary.
Tell us about whenever y'all are doing this show, you have a hard time keeping. You walk a line really between having an internet persona and being yourselves. Which can both be very dangerous things to do by themselves, but you all really seem to walk a line. And that can be very difficult sometimes with fans wanting to intrude and kind of insert themselves into personal lives. Has that...
Yeah. Well, like, we definitely put it on a little bit. Like, I'm not going to be on the podcast or I'm not going to be on the phone with Barbara right next to her at dinner and be like, Barbara, you're a bitch. Right? I'm just going to be like, Barbara, pass the butter. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we're not as insulting towards each other, but I don't know.
But it's still the same level of camaraderie.
It is. Like, we talk to each other now. Like, I'll have a party chat with Andrew and Michael. We'll be talking at the same level of funniness, you would say, just more.
Yeah.
Like, the podcast or, like, recording something, it's the same, but more. Like, you never stop. You can't. If you stop talking, then everyone's gonna be like, "So what you talking about?" You know? So.
Well, there have been some episodes of that.
Yeah. They're great though. Love them.
So, who does what?
Well,
as far as the job allocation on the internet box.
Well, it used to be I recorded. Like, I would record with. Oh, what was it? No. Michael recorded with Pamela. Like, it was just a Skype recording thing. Pamela Anderson, actually, she would come over and record with us.
Pamela Henderson, his other girlfriend before Lindsay.
Yeah, exactly. So he would record, send it to me, and I was the only one that said that they could edit. He was like, "Oh, I don't want to do it. I have so much to do already." I was like, "I can edit. It's perfectly fine." I don't even think I put anything out at that point. But I feel like I have to burp. I forced it out.
Nice.
It would be that, and then like it would record all of our audio at once, and it'd be horrible quality. And then I downloaded something to start recording, just so I didn't have to go through the crazy process of him sending me the file, or like it failed while he was asleep, so I have to wait till the next day.
Ugh.
So I just started recording with it was just like a free call recorder I had on my MacBook. I paid for that thing too. And then we switched over to recording our separate audio tracks. This was around like episode 15 or something.
Yeah.
You can definitely hear the quality spike, like how great it sounded after that. But I was still using my MacBook internal microphone, so I didn't sound very good until I got my Snowball. But aside from the recording, I edited it. That's always hard to say when you try to say it fast. Especially edited it. Just all that together, you don't even know what's going on anymore. Michael would fill in for me sometimes, very rarely at the beginning, but recently it's been like he's already doing like editing, so he might as well. Like he just takes it like that.
Fair enough.
And then I do the link dump also, mostly. Yeah, I would say like Andrew will pick up for me. Like when I was in Amsterdam on vacation, he did the link dump for me and texted me endlessly about how hard it was. Because it's a hard thing.
Oh, just whining and complaining. That's all that was.
Yeah. From everyone else, but I'm great. So you have to get all the links, and then you have to like put the HTML from like a normal website, like WordPress or something, like the format, and then get it for Rooster Teeth as well. Rooster Teeth is a lot simpler, so you just put like dash or bracket link equals and then the link and then the name of the link. It's really easy. So that aside, Mike always did website stuff from the get-go. He opened up like a blogspot, was already screwing around with all of the stuff that he could do with it, and it was like, I want to make a website, but internetbox.com is taken. And I was like, I don't know, why not Internet Box Podcast or like the Internet Box. And our branding, this is a weird term to use, but we decided that we wouldn't say the Internet Box.
Okay.
If we were referring to it where it would call for that, that's fine. Like if we said, oh, the Internet Box Podcast that we recorded. But it's just Internet Box. That's just the name. Like I'm pretty sure we cover all this in the early
I
episodes.
don't necessarily know that you did, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that was purposefully done without the.
Yeah, it's weird. But it's
absolutely. I mean, that level of thought should really go into just about anything you do. I mean, I do try and do the exact same level of quality in my work, and it can show. It really can.
Mm-hmm. And so Mike was always like doing website stuff, and then when he got the website domain internetboxpodcast.com, he was like, "Great, now we have 50 episodes that we need to copy and put the link dumps on this." I was like, I could help. So now I was like Mike's protege of uploading stuff to the website, and now it's come to I can upload the podcast myself. So as soon as I edit, I don't have to work towards anyone's time schedule. I can just do it all myself. Anyone's time schedule. I can just do it all myself, and it's perfectly fine. And then Mike, there's a thing that I can't do, which is because HTML is hard for me. I can't make it so there's like a little player on the link dump. So when I do it, you can tell I did it because it says download MP3. And then Mike goes back and fixes it. So he's still obviously necessary. Still does a ton of website stuff. Great April Fool's joke where he turned the whole website upside down and stuff like that. Andrew, or getting back to the whole setup, Andrew gets the intros and he sends it to everyone. But the thing is, he always had a problem with it where he didn't know how to get to the instant message part of Skype. So we all record on Skype, by the way.
Yeah. He didn't know how to get to the messenger part of Skype. He
didn't. He knew how to use calls. He didn't know how to add people either. He didn't know how to get to the messenger part of it, so he couldn't send it. So he would DM it to me, and then I would post it in the Skype call.
Wow.
It's a whole thing of workaround, but now he knows how to do it just fine.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Everyone is just as funny as they can be, as much as they can be, and are great co-hosts of the podcast. Even if they don't do much work outside of that.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not exactly as though it's a difficult job to do. I mean, you have just talk about whatever things have happened in some sort of entertaining fashion. And since there's 6 of you, it's not like you have to carry the entire conversation.
No, not at all. Like, Michael's stories, nobody interrupts them because he is good at telling stories.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like I always stutter through it. I forget my points because people interject just to kind of liven it up.
Right.
Which is fine.
But that's why they're there.
Some people don't
that's exactly why they're there.
Exactly. But most of the time, we're just listening to Michael because he's so good at telling stories, or kind of fumbling through our own. But we've kind of come into it, and like Andrew could tell a story just fine. Doesn't like the interruptions, but that's what's there to kind of bring it back when the stories get a little low. But
it's still entertaining. None the same. It's still entertaining, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. And him freaking out kind of adds a little bit to it as well. But
yeah. Everyone loves a good freak out. I believe that's how Michael Jones got a job.
True.
What's been your family's reaction to all this?
Oh my. And don't get me wrong, they know. But they know that I record something every week. It's not like, hey Mom, I got a podcast that has 7 million listens.
Uh-huh.
That's great. It's more like, hey Mom, I'm gonna record, so don't pick me up ever. So just leave.
Yeah, just don't, and don't ever go to this website. Just don't.
Like,
you know what? I'm gonna block it for you. I'm just gonna block it for you.
Yeah, just don't use the computer. I'll use it when I'm here, but don't use it. That's my mom. My dad, all he wants me to do is get a job, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Get a real job.
A real job.
Yeah.
Internet doesn't count. So
of course, no, absolutely not. How on earth could you possibly make a living doing digital media?
Exactly. So he's just like, so you're gonna make money from it soon? And I'm like, Dad, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if we have anything lined up, we have to talk business with each other. All this and that.
That's always the primary concern with him, isn't it? I get pressure from my grandmother all the time, and my folks always wonder what the heck I'm doing with my life. But you know what? It's fun.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun doing this every week,
really
talking
is.
with your friends. Especially when they're all so busy and they don't have to make time for the podcast. But when it's a priority to make time for the podcast, it's a good time to talk to them, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that answers the big question of why.
Yeah.
Why the podcast is in existence.
It's just fun. It's so much fun. Like, sometimes tension gets high sometimes, but like that's only when we forget that we're still putting on a show. I use Andrew as an example constantly because he does this a lot, but no offense, Andrew, if you're watching, sorry. But if you're constantly trying, like the barber thing that I said, like, hey, barber, you're a bitch. Not really. But if you're constantly doing that, but that's the only time you talk to your friends, then they're going to think that's how you actually react to them.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of, like, after the podcast, just say, I didn't mean it. It's just for the joke.
Just say, guys, I freaking love you. Y'all are amazing.
Exactly.
We do this thing. It's a show. We're having fun.
And, like, most of us don't forget that, but sometimes we'll be like, I don't know why you said that joke about me. That was really mean.
Yeah.
So
sometimes just tempers get heated, discussions get flared. That's what happens when you have 6 people that have, not exactly small personalities all trying to cram into the same space. And now 8. Now 8 people.
Not all at once, but definitely.
Yeah, of course. Until the panel.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh.
Which, speaking of, so what are your plans for RTX this year?
Oh, if I can make it, because money is low for everyone, really. Because everyone's losing their jobs, everyone's getting their jobs.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Kickstarter. Kickstarter Dylon. Get Dylon to RTX now.
Now, that's not a bad idea, because someone threw around the idea to me, hey, there are a few Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns that are like, hey, get this person RTX. It's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but some of them are like, I don't know who you are.
There's no purpose for getting them there.
Yeah.
The thing is, I want to go. I'm going as a guardian, so this is going to be rather difficult to do. I want to go and record some stuff while I'm there.
Yes.
I'm there for 2 ruddy weeks. I cannot freaking wait. I'm renting a house with a whole bunch of friends of mine, and it's going to be fantastic. But I kind of want to do a little bit of work while I'm there, maybe get some of the exclusives on the show floor, stuff like that. That would be a good reason to fund someone going there.
Yeah.
If you can't go, hire me as a proxy. Give me $5, help me get there, and I will be your eyes and ears at PAX. Or, excuse me, at RTX.
Yeah.
There are people who do it for PAX. There are people who do it for every other giant convention. So, don't go stealing that ideas. He's doing it.
Well,
go ahead.
It's kind of like it's a gray area because we don't. This is kind of businessy talk, but like we don't want to accept donations from people for the podcast. No. Most of us have jobs and we can pay for like hosting and stuff like that.
All the various miscellaneous costs that come with doing something like that.
But just the podcast, right? We're not paying for new equipment with this podcast money that we don't have, right? If I was to do this, it would have to, and Michael made this very clear, it would have to be in my own accord. My Twitter, or promotion via my Twitter, my Rooster Teeth profile, my YouTube channel. I can't use the podcast.
No, and that's absolutely completely fair. It would be capitalizing on ill-gotten gains.
Like I said, I completely understand. That is, I would actually feel bad about that. I don't even like plugging my own YouTube channel on the podcast. Yeah. I did it for Cooking with Dylon. I actually mentioned it once this week, just because everyone mentioned a Let's Play, so I was like,
since we're doing it, yeah. Don't worry, you get plenty of time to plug at the end of the show, I promise.
Oh, yay.
So, tell me about your formal schooling.
Oh, my. I actually haven't gone into too much detail about this to really anyone, but
Okay. Well, I mean, go into as much detail as you feel comfortable with.
No, I'm fine with it. I went to elementary school, or like preschool, whatever. I don't think we call it preschool, but elementary school, so that's the 2 years prior to grade 1, or first grade for all you Americans, say it completely differently.
Yeah, I know, right?
So then first grade to 8th grade, that's elementary school in Canada. And then we don't have middle school. Well, you can, if you're in a public school system, you can go to middle school. It's 9 to 12. I went my 9th grade year, and there was so much, just like, on top of just being lazy, like I am, I would get sick sometimes, and then I would embellish a little bit and pretend I was still sick. And it was just not fun. Like, a lot of people think this, I didn't get bullied or anything. It was more, because I kind of freak out. So it was more the anxiety of thinking, like, I'm going to get bullied. It was kind of more that. And I haven't told that to anyone, really, but there's that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, I'm completely aware of it, but I think that with everything. If someone doesn't return my text, I turn into a dickhead, and I'm like, oh, they don't like me, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing of the matter is, especially like when you go on Twitter and see that they just happened to post something a couple minutes ago, or something like that, your mind tends to wander and your imagination gets away from you, and sometimes paranoia and anxiety can get the better of you. Trust me, I'm with you on that one.
I like
buddy.
to just say I'm a butt. Because that's just easier to explain to people.
It gets the description out of the way, and it makes it nice and colorful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my 9th grade year, I went... I had, like, the higher level classes, like the smart people classes. And it's not like it was too much. It's just when you're not going a lot, it's really not that nice. Because you're getting a lot of work, and you don't know what's going on. So, it's just like, oh, God. So, I passed everything just fine. Except for gym, which I was still a little bit fat at the time because I did lose a lot of weight after starting the podcast and going through it. Not because the podcast is a lot of talking really helps you lose weight.
Yeah. As it turns out.
But like, I just didn't like going because everyone was physically fit, and I was just like, this is hard.
Yeah, it's just the social anxiety's got the better of you.
It's like nobody made fun of me for not being able to do things. I just thought they would, so I was like, oh my god,
And so is that something that you've kind of actively worked to overcome?
Yeah, like when I go in public,
because clearly you don't have much of a problem with it anymore. I mean, the panels and everything like that, you're at least able to put it aside.
Because that's so much fun, like getting to talk to everyone and things like that, talk to your friends. It's more comfortable. I kind of try to ignore the panel.
Well, I'd imagine that there's much less doubt as to whether they're going to bully you or not.
Yeah, well, I don't know, when certain jokes get thrown around the podcast when I'm not there, and then people are using them, I'm like, what does this joke mean? Is it about me?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it turns out to be like a joke at me, and I'm just like, but there's jokes about everyone, so it's fine, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Everyone can take a little verbal abuse.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't be everywhere all the time, so eventually you're going to miss something. That's just the nature of the beast. Speaking of, how many episodes are you up to now?
This week is 78, I believe.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no possible way you could be there for every minute of all 78 of those episodes.
It's a hard thing to do, work around everyone's schedules and then your own. You can't be on everything.
Mm-hmm. So. It's true. It's very, very true. I mean, we had a hard enough time getting this together as it was, and it's just the two of us. I can only imagine how much more difficult it is when there's 5 upwards of 6 sometimes. Yeah. Holy crap.
Sometimes we have 3, and that's just a breeze. But I don't know.
So, what are your plans for your YouTube channel? You were talking about kind of branching off and distinguishing yourself a little bit. What are you going to do?
Well, I guess I can kind of just announce everything. I was going to make a channel trailer because with the new YouTube layout, you have the ability to put a trailer up. So when people are unsubscribed, they get that video autoplayed. And you have a chance to explain.
Oh, I didn't realize that was automatically for those who weren't subscribed. Neat.
Yeah, but if you're subscribed, it takes you to like whatever organized way you set your channel at. So like I have my 3 playlists, my recent uploads under that, and then popular uploads. I believe.
What 3 playlists?
Well, I have. I don't like to call it a let's play because it's more of a playthrough with super heavy editing of Ultimate Spider-Man. So like that's like a half an hour long each episode. There's only like 2 or 3 out now. It has a ton of editing, half an hour long. There's that. Then there's Pokemon Coliseum for the GameCube. Also, I got a generous donation of Ultimate Spider-Man. That's how I got it. I even in the first video address it. Like right.
Nice.
It's really awesome. Pokemon Coliseum, which I started way back when I wanted to start making videos again. Like,
do you have the attachment that lets you import your Pokemon from other games?
No, I don't, because you need like the storage box and all that stuff. I didn't have it, so I just started fresh. But 6 months ago I started that, and about 4 months ago I dropped it completely. Like 6 episodes in, I was just like, this is hard and I'm lazy, because I put so much editing and effort into it. And I also only started that extra editing on the 4th episode. So 4+, it's all like really fancy editing and dumb things through it.
Right.
So those are my first two, and then my last playlist is, I called it Onesies just because I was fishing for a name. It's not like it's the name of the show or anything, but like, it's just one-off videos of like I just grab a Wii game, and I just kind of
I do the same thing.
An hour. Yeah, you just play for half an hour and cut through it. Just like it's joke after joke. So if you have a short attention span like me, then it's perfect because it's just 10 minutes of joke after joke.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not Let's Play stuff. Let's Plays are when you get to episode 186 of freaking Skyrim, and there's nothing going on. You're not even talking about the game anymore. You're just discussing your day.
Yeah.
That's a Let's Play.
Like, there's two big components to generic Let's Play. It's either just focus on the game and be quiet. So it's like, oh yeah, you're going through here, you do this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or it's, wow, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just talking.
Oh, silly voices, face cam, scare cam. Yeah.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. So it's I try to avoid it as much as I can.
Of course.
I try to get people to, because people like making Let's Plays. People send me Let's Plays that they did, and they're like, hey, watch my Pokemon Let's Play. I'm like, it's not just the commentary. Like, you can be so boring that it'll bore everyone to tears. If you have good editing and you're actually, like, doing something in the game, that is one part of it. If you have great commentary, but you're not doing anything in the game, it's like, what are you doing, right? It's just, you gotta kind of half and half, both of them together.
Agreed. I agree 100%
extra
on that.
In as well.
Yeah. You gotta show some sort of progress with every episode, or else there is no point. There's literally no point to it existing. And
I guess I'll make the announcement now, because I haven't really told anyone, and I'm
I do love announcements.
Trailer. Yeah, it's fun. I'm making a video. It's based around Paper Mario, which is a game series that I really enjoy. It's Paper Mario for the N64, Thousand Year Door, the sequel for the GameCube.
James was just talking about that 2 weeks ago, incidentally.
Oh, well, I do a top 10 video because I really like all those reviews and stuff that people make when they're funny. Like, main example, JonTron. Like, I would say my main three influences, would be Continue, JonTron, and Game Grumps.
Okay.
All those three, it's kind of like I meld everything together and try to, like, make it my own.
Right.
Because you watch a Game Grumps video, it has a little bit of editing, like, to make things funny. You watch a Continue video, it's joke after joke after joke. But it's three guys also, so it's kind of hard to do it myself. And then JonTron is really funny, and then on top of that, he's got great editing.
And making a point.
He's great at making a point. He's great at it coming across and being funny. This new thing that I'm trying to do, the Paper Mario thing, the top 10, it's going to be top 10 bosses of the entire series.
Okay.
Excluding Sticker Star, because I can't capture on my 3DS. Like, the process was so much fun and a lot of work. Like, I started by just thinking, I was like, I wanted to make a video about Paper Mario, because it's one of the first games that I played, like the first one on the N64. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I should do something. I really don't like Super Paper Mario for the Wii, or I don't like it that much, so why not just talk about how much it sucks? And then it evolved from that into writing a script, and then I was like, this is really bad. I need to make it about something more relevant. I tossed around the idea of a top 10. I used to hate them, but now I love them, because the way people can get their points across
very concisely,
but still be entertaining. Yeah. So I thought about that. I was like, what are my top 10 favorite bosses from this series? I don't even know. So I looked at them, and I'm like, I really like these because of this. And then I wrote a script around it. That was a lot of fun. I'm in the middle of recording footage right now. I'm just starting Thousand Year Door. So I'm just about halfway. I finished the first Paper Mario. Super Paper Mario is going to take like 20 minutes to do. But this one, it's taking days because I don't have that much time. And on top of that, I have to beat the game, right? I have to get to these parts. So it's a whole thing. Yeah,
it does really become a problem sometimes when you have to balance your real life and your internet life and your actual work and every daggum thing else. When you have all of these ideas buzzing through your head and you come up with something great and you want to act on it right then.
Mm-hmm. And like the management part of this channel and like trying to do my own thing a little bit, it's a lot of fun. Like, I drew my own. I talked about it on the podcast, which you might have listened to. I drew my own channel art, and I drew my own profile picture. I also threw in a thing in my because the new YouTube layout has like a banner, so you can like just kind of get your thing across. And the whole point of the new layout is everything is aggregated into one channel, so
that you can see it all pretty much on one screen. I mean, that's what they're trying to do, is consolidate it into the smallest area possible.
Exactly, because if you look at it on your phone, for instance, if your channel banner is like small enough, like if you met the border, like if you went inside of it that they give you, it'll be perfect. So it'll be on every device, and then you start adding stuff like a little bit outside of it. Like for me, I added. I took the profile picture that I drew, just my face and my dumb hair. I think I did it backwards as well. Now that I think about it. I don't know, but I just mirror it or pretend that I'm mirrored. And I am a mirror.
To be fair, no, it looks just fine in the video.
Does it? Okay. So I took that and I like kind of just made it the default, like just cut the hair off and just made it like the face.
Right.
And I drew Spider-Man around it, like the mask and the eyes and stuff and the webs.
Okay.
And I was like, this is cool. I should use this for my my channel. Like I want to use it for the art and say like which games I'm playing.
Right.
And I was like, cool. Now I have that. And so if you go to my channel, you can see which games I'm playing just by looking at it. You don't even have to look at the videos.
That's fantastic.
That's Spider-Man. That's you can't really tell because it's like a weird character from this Pokemon Coliseum game. Like he has goggles and like a lion on his face and stuff. But I put a Pokeball on him too. So you can see from that I'm currently playing Spider-Man and Pokemon.
And because you're already an artist, I mean, you can just change that on the fly pretty much.
Oh, I wouldn't call myself an artist.
Well, someone who can draw more so than I, because I don't even have the channel banner yet. I'm working on that.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people, like if you're good at graphic design or just have ideas in your head in general, it's really easy. You just have to find like a template, so it's just like it'll give you just like the whole screen because
I've seen that template that they give out that's got the different thing, and then like the TV size is pretty much just full ruddy image.
It's just the whole thing, and it does give you a little bit compression, like it'll crop it for you for every device, but it does kind of mess with the image a bit. Like even Game Grumps, like I wanted to see like a good channel what they did, and Aaron, one of the Game Grumps, he's an artist, he animates all the time. So what he uses for his like decisions, that is like one of the best decisions you can make. Noticing that even his channel banner has some compression, I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't just mess up, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you try as hard as you might, sometimes technology is still going to find a way to come around and bite you in the butt.
Just like setting up to record today. Sometimes it's just as hard.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you give us just a moment, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are.
Sorry about that. Had to use the restroom. So now I want to talk about what games are you playing right now?
Right now, I'm not playing too much, but the last few games I put in, aside from the ones I'm recording with, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which is essentially an MMO Final Fantasy, but local. Mm-hmm. Really fun.
Right.
Skyrim I was playing a lot of, but then when I started making the switch to trying to record everything.
Question. Yeah. Skyrim. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the DLC?
Which one? All of them?
All of them. Just as a whole.
Like the idea of it, or just how they work?
No. How have they done them so far?
Well, I've only played Dawnguard, but I've seen a lot about Dragonborn. Dawnguard was the first one. It's a lot of fun. Like, you get a crossbow because it's all vampire hunters and stuff. And I love the crossbow. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. Just like faster than a normal bow, and same perks and stuff. But I haven't played much of the other ones, so I can't really give too much opinion. Or by played much, I mean not at all. But
not a fan.
I think it's fun.
Not a fan in my book. I don't know that it adds enough. The thing is, when that game was first coming out, and they were talking about what DLC was going to be on the shelf for this amazing new game called Skyrim that's going to introduce you to this amazing world. Yes. They were talking about adding entire continents.
That's true.
In DLC. I mean, and then you give us Dawnguard,
which is just a little extra
where you
area
can
of
become a
walking to a
vampire.
castle. So.
And then you can, you can build your house and adopt a kid, and that's pretty cool, right? No, it's not. Dragonborn might be the closest one to an actual one that I'll accept. It adds a decent amount of content. It adds a new island, but an island isn't a continent.
That's true.
I mean, they promised me Cyrodiil, for Christ's sakes. I don't know. I have a problem with promises not being kept. I guess that's just
I really don't like the idea of DLC in general. When I was little, obviously, that is a mystical concept to me, or was, because it was like, I can get extra levels.
Yeah, the games could go on after what was in the cartridge, yeah.
That's crazy. I don't have to play it again. I can just play more. But now, it's like, you have to pay for extra DLC. You have to... It's just like a whole different experience.
Extra DLC that sometimes was made before the game came out.
Exactly. Because, like, Nintendo 64, for example, they were, like, coding the cartridge, like, or coding the game 5 minutes before it was going out, right?
Yeah.
They weren't, like, didn't finish everything and then hide it for you to find and then pay for it.
Underneath a 64 kilobit patch that you'll download for $9.99 later on. Excuse me, you can't do $9.99, 800 points.
There we go. That's the one.
I pray that they do away with all of that during the next console generation, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I just remembered on other games that I'm playing. I downloaded on the Wii Virtual Console. I really want a Wii U, by the way. So people are giving it hate. None of that from me. I think it's cool. I downloaded Castlevania, the original. It's really hard. I loved it. I loved playing it. It was so hard, and it was so rewarding when you beat Dracula at the end.
Yeah, there's something to be said for powering through a game like that. The first game that I ever pushed my way through like that was Big Nose the Caveman.
Oh, my.
And it was ridiculously difficult. No continues anywhere. 3 lives. I mean, just the work. It was horrendously difficult. And then after I did that, I discovered emulation and save states and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's that.
So, that's how I beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts and regular Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Otherwise, you would never get to see the ending. Otherwise, you would have to beat Ghouls and Ghosts twice.
Yeah. There's something to be said about emulation and stuff, because piracy is a weird thing. A lot of people do it. A lot of people don't think it affects that much. It does. But I have my views on it, and it's just like it's a whole thing. I don't really want to get into that. But video games, I zero tolerance for actual piracy of it. Like, I had someone, undisclosed name, they said, "Hey, can I borrow your computer?" And I was like, "Why?" And they were like, "So I can flash my Xbox." I was like, "That sounds wrong, first of all. Disgusting. But also morally disgusting. Why are you doing that?" Because I didn't know what it was.
Sorry, it took me a second.
But, and they were like, "Oh, it's so I can play pirated games on my Xbox." And I was like, "You are dumb." That's not good.
Very dumb.
Especially in an industry that you love, like video games, you have to like...
Especially a system that if you want to be, connecting to anything outside of yourself, they're going to be able to check your box and know that you modified it in some way. And chances are that thing's going to be a giant doorstop here in about
it's going to and your IP. Like, they find out you're playing pirated games, your IP is gone. They have to move to be able to play Xbox games online again, or even Xbox in general. Because if it automatically connects to the internet, then you're fucked. It'll just say, this is the same IP as the last Xbox that was here. No.
And that also screws over for anyone else who happens to come in there and has an Xbox after them.
Exactly.
I'd imagine.
You'd think it wasn't in my house.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Gross.
On top of Castlevania, I was also playing A Link to the Past. I think I'm about halfway through it. I'm in the Dark World, but I haven't played it, obviously, because I've been busy recording and editing and all that fun stuff.
Link to the Past was the Super Nintendo one.
Yes. It's
right?
also on the Virtual Console. Also, you mentioned emulation. When I didn't have these systems, I was okay with it. But now that I have access to like NES games and SNES games, Nintendo 64 games.
To me, that's always been the biggest deterrent against piracy, is making the things that the pirates want easily available, cheap.
Yeah.
Because there have been many times where I've said, yeah, I kind of want to buy this and support them, but I can't find it. I mean, I can't find it to download it. I can't find them to support it, or it ends up being, some skyrocketed price.
I can't find this copy of Sonic on the original Genesis or whatever it was on, because it's so rare and like so many people covet it and they want a lot of money for it.
Right.
So it's like, I can't play this, so I have to either resort to emulation or piracy, or buy a Wii and download the first Sonic game on the Virtual Console.
Exactly.
It's a legal emulator, and it's great.
That's exactly right. Finally, those technologies are being used in some way that won't get your door broken down for no reason.
Yes, exactly.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're coming a little bit closer to the end of our show. And I've always enjoyed the Inside the Actor Studios method of ending with a series of questions. And so I, too, have reappropriated the Proust Personality Questionnaire. And it goes a little something like this. Dylon, what's your favorite word?
That's quite the question. I would have to say, those words that sound a little, to use the old use of the word, a little queer, a little funny, a little silly. Okay. Like, words like per se and things like that, they always just tickle the funny bone. And it's always a joy to be able to use it in conversation. And you feel like snickering to yourself and be like, yeah, that's funny.
It's true. It's true. Sperm whale is one of those for me. I have a whole theory about consonants being funny, but we'll get to that. What's your least favorite word?
A word that I'm not allowed to say on air. So let's leave that one aside.
Okay. What?
Go ahead.
No, you don't have to. It's fine. What hero or heroine do you identify with the most?
This is obvious. Spider-Man. Because it's just, when you go through so much like he did, and you get given this ability to do something great, and you use it properly, and the way that you think that a textbook good person would use it, that's what I like to see. Because my life wasn't so good. It got a lot better, especially with my rising internet stuff.
Well,
and I have it. I have this power, and I'm using it as best as I can. Like, I'm not running around saying, "Give me money," even though I will to get to RTX.
And those people,
stuff like that.
Those kinds of people that tend to use their powers for good, tend to become paragons and idolized,
like
and for the
right
reasons.
There was like a case of this that someone explained to me. A character, or it's a group called the Mighty Boosh, which I'm not too familiar with, but I have seen a few sketches or whatever from them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Adult Swim.
Oh yeah,
well, which you're not old enough for.
One of the actors, he was like new to Twitter and stuff, and someone said like something insulting to him, and he was like, "Everyone that follows me, go yell at him and make fun of him and tell him to go away," and probably a lot meaner than that, but along those lines, it's like that's a way to use it or to misuse it. For me, I try to use it like
for evil.
Yeah, kind of. For me, I try to think like, for example, I was talking about like the RTX fun thing that I might do eventually.
Yeah.
If plane ticket prices don't go down.
Really?
Other people that are doing that, like, for example, Cherie. She's an artist on Rooster Teeth, and she's really good. I like her. She was doing that, and I was like, I have the chance to something as small as retweet this link, and it might get her a few extra dollars towards going, because she lives in Australia, along with a few other people that have been doing this fun thing, or like Kickstarter things, to go somewhere. It's like, they live in Australia, they live so far away, the plane ride is $5,000. So it's like, Jesus.
That's ridiculous.
How am I going to do this? Right?
That
it's
is
just
absolutely
all that.
ridiculous.
They need help. I don't really need help. The only way that I'll get along through this is support from people that actually like me.
Right.
I'm not going to go and say, I need this because my uncle's dying there.
Yeah,
it's just because,
but that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't deflect some of what would go to you to others who need it more.
Yeah.
Which I think that's very commendable. What villain or villainess do you identify with the most?
Oh my. Oh, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at my games.
Oh, come on.
I really don't know.
No, that's a tough one. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh my. Good music can kind of get your creative juices flowing. Like, if you just listen to something that's nostalgic to you, like, I'll put on Kingdom Hearts music, or even a soundtrack from the anime I was talking about earlier, Sword Art Online. It's so nice, and it's just so nostalgic to me, the Kingdom Hearts one, at least. It makes me want to do something. Like, I want to draw, or I want to play something and record something, or I want to go run to someone and tell them how much I like this game.
So that leads into my next question. Are you someone who's able to put off that impulse and then create later when you have time, or do you have to drop everything?
I really don't. I'm very lazy, so if I get the urge to do something, but I'm doing something else, I'll be like, well, I'll probably forget about this and then never come back to it.
Yeah.
But if the off chance that I do think I really want to do this, so I'm going to, then something great happens, and I come up with a new channel banner and a whole reworked channel and new name and just things that look nice.
Yeah, you love that. Just the massive productivity dump.
Yeah, I was literally just laying down, and I was like, I should do something. I really feel like it. And then I did that, and I got so much work done, and I felt so, like, proud of myself that I got all of that done, that I was just like, well, I'm glad I didn't sleep. Now it's 8 in the morning.
Generally speaking, if you can't sleep, I find that it's just too much effort to try and make yourself. Yeah. You're not going to get rested anyway. You're obviously stressing over something. Yeah. So get up and do something about that stress.
Exactly.
And then once it's over and done with, you could pop yourself a 20-minute nap, but you know what? It'll be a 20-minute nap that you feel better about.
Or 5 hours if you forget to set an alarm.
Absolutely.
That happens to me a lot, and I'm not happy about it. It's a lot of time wasted.
So, what turns you off?
It sounds very generic, but just when I see people being mean, in general, it just makes me go, like, it really makes you question, like, the world in general. I know it's super cliche, like, oh, the world is in such a state that we just can't help. But, like, some people can be so mean that they just, like, bully someone into a corner and they have no way of defending themselves. Like I said, people with power like that. Like, can you imagine the guy from Mighty Boosh was attacking and got all these people to attack? Can you imagine how he felt? He's probably like, holy shit, what am I going to do? Like, I can't use the internet anymore because it's...
He won't do that again, will he?
Oh, no. But it's just something like that.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes it can just get out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than the talents that you were clearly gifted with already, what other ability would you like to have?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm kind of cursed and blessed with the ability to do everything all right. Like, it's kind of like the everyman, odd job Jack kind of thing. Like, I can do everything okay. It's like I'm not bad at a lot of things. A few things, obviously.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. I can work on something forever. I've been drawing for like maybe 4 months now, and you can, like, on my Tumblr you can see the stuff that I actually finish and post. It's getting a little bit better, but it's nothing to write home about and sell for millions of dollars, right?
Not yet, anyway.
I just can't. It's hard for me to improve so greatly that you actually notice. Mm-hmm. For me, it's a little bit because you get muscle memory. Like, when I'm editing, I'll click through things and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is how I did that. So if I want to do it again, I do it this way, right? But if I'm just starting, or if I have to download a new program, like one that's cheaper or better but more expensive, whatever, it will be so hard to get back into it because I'm not getting all that better at editing. It's just I'm used to the program.
Yeah,
right?
you're getting used to the program and getting faster at it and knowing the shortcuts and
it's more of short-term skill mastery.
I mean, when I first started editing together the first 20-minute episode of Antichamber, it took me 2 hours, and now I've got it down to less than 10 minutes. So I mean, I know exactly what you mean. You just get better and you just work at it and your quality improves over time, or at least it should. It should show some sort of appreciable difference, or else you're not doing it right. Again, what's the point?
It's a lot. I don't want to say different. Well, it is different, but I try to think of a proper episode. Like Pokemon episode 6 or like 4 to 6, like the ones that I started editing. It would take an entire day to finish an episode. It would take like 6 or 7 hours to finish an episode, just because I put so much into it. Now, I can take a night, like 3 or 4 hours to finish a 20-minute episode.
Yeah.
It's a big improvement, and it's still like this newest one that's going to go up at the end of this week, Pokemon Part 9. It is one of my favorites. Like, just the jokes are dumb, but it's also like the first time I got back into recording. Yeah. Like, I had all of that stuff before. This is my newest thing, aside from Spider-Man, because I do that as it comes out. For Pokemon, I recorded like 8 parts right away. So, or like maybe some.
And so now you're getting back into it with new skills.
Yeah, new commentary skills, new editing skills, thinking about what I'm going to do ahead of time if I say this joke.
Yeah.
If I say like something really loud and segmented, like this is happening, then I'll put it like on screen, I'll put text like this is happening.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like I think about it as I'm doing it instead of just going blah, 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 and then not being able to do anything with footage. So
Absolutely. Good. Like I said, you have to show some sort of semblance of growth and learning and change. Otherwise, what the hell's the point?
Exactly.
What's your favorite curse word?
I don't know. Obviously, everyone picks fuck just because it's such a universal word. You can use it for anything.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, there you go. It's a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah.
But like lately, as like the last 6 months or so, I've been using a lot of dumb words, like just to when people censor themselves and say like darn or dang or
fiddle fart,
what the hey, and it's like I find those funny, so I use those. I'll say just like gosh darn it, or like
what the French toast.
Yeah, like I don't even give a care. I just don't give one.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. It just makes me laugh. I don't know why.
Well, it's the talent for understatement.
There you go.
That can be a very powerful thing when you do it right. So what do you see yourself doing 10 years from now?
Oh my goodness. In all honesty, if everything goes as planned through this lovely thing we call the internet, I'll be living with my girlfriend in some kind of city, like Toronto or maybe New York, who knows.
Right.
Doing this, but with a bigger, I don't want to say fan base, but like more people that care.
Audience.
That's what I mean.
Audience.
Yeah, audience.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for these people. I could stop whenever I want, but I won't because these people drive me to do it because they like it and all that.
They're your drug.
There you go.
They are your drug. You could stop whenever you want to, but it feels so good.
Because it really does. It feels super rewarding when you see people.
It's true.
When you see that like bar go up and the comments just increase, like, of good
and you know
stuff.
That it's because of something you made on your own with someone else's game.
Copyright.
What sound or noise do you love?
What's that?
What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, man. On the NES, there's like a... I don't know how to explain it. I'm pretty sure in Castlevania, it's when the main character Simon Belmont, when he whips, it's like, but it's like, it sounds like it's a repeated noise, like that.
Okay.
And when I hear it, I just get like, like I did that.
Nice.
Just whatever it's used in.
Get a little,
it's just great. I love all those
little goose pimply.
Yeah, I love all those like retro game sounds. They're great.
Right. What sound or noise do you hate?
Children voices. Mainly that of
Interesting.
Screaming. Like, when people scream when they don't get their way, that can be the most annoying thing ever. Some people can do it all right. Like, you hear someone funny with a good inflection of their voice scream, it's like, that's funny. When you hear someone, like a little kid that's annoying, I don't hate kids, they're alright, but some of them. But, like, when they're like, I don't get my way, blah, 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 it's like...
Yeah, it can be a little taxing. sometimes you wonder just how far they will be punted.
Absolutely.
If you had a choice, finally, how long would it take you to respawn after you died?
Man. Probably like 10 seconds. A lot of people want to get right back into everything right away, but I want to see what happened, right? I want to see if the person that just metaphorically killed me, or literally, I want to see what they do. If they want to rub it in my face, or if they want to go be the cool guy that they just were and continue what they're doing, right? And if
Interesting.
It's just like, I like to see how people react to things, is the thing.
Huh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our show. Dylon, please, go ahead. Would you like to plug anything?
I don't know. You could... I mean, I have Twitter, at Dylon Show right now. I was hoping on getting, at Dylon, but the guy, he responded twice to me and said, yeah, you can have it on April 1st. And I was like, is this an April Fool's joke? But it turned out not to be. But then he said, like on April 7th or something, he said it again. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just give up. I'm used to the Dylon Show thing now anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really use Facebook. You can subscribe to me on Facebook. Tumblr, I made like a pretty long post recently that was just explaining what I use my Tumblr for. Like, posting art, general rant about something that's dumb, talking about like a video process or something like, hey, this is stupid. I don't know. Or just reblogging like dumb things, like a GIF that I see or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Those are always fun. And then of course at youtube.com/Dylon Show.
And you can go there, and more of me is there.
And of course, links to all that will be down below and at the end of the video at the tail end. My channel, of course, you're watching it here, youtube.com/TimLeftwich. My Twitter is at TimLeftwich or at TimTries for just the video releases if you don't want to hear me go on. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second episode. Oh, if you have any additional questions for my guest, I hope that you'll be willing to continue answering questions down below.
And I was actually thinking of attaching,
go ahead.
to make that channel trailer that I was talking about, attaching a Q&A video to the end of that, so I could grab some questions from this too.
Yeah, no, by all means. Ask Dylon questions down below. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. Still recording. Oh, so close. Okay. Okay, I think we're ready. Good to go?
No, but yeah, we're good.
Oh, nice. Don't worry, I'm totally still recording that.
Okay.